Gun control, mass shootings, ammo shortage, record guns sold in 2020. Today we'll be analyzing Vista Outdoor, ticker VSTO, and see what impact these news have on the company. Now, before we get started with the video, I would just like to say the usual. This is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor. This is my research on the company, my opinion on it, and the goal of this video is just so that I can share my research with people and they can give me their opinions on it. Also, in the description you'll find a link to my entire research with the news articles, videos, some screenshots of what I'm basing myself upon, so please be sure to check that out. Now, VSTO is a $1.7 billion company. The shares are trading just below $30 per share. It has a year-to-date return of, I believe, just above 24%. The company itself is divided into two sectors. The first sector is the shooting sports. The second sector is the outdoor sports. The shooting sports sells everything related to guns and ammo, so gun accessories and ammo. And the outdoor products, they sell, well, footwear, hiking accessories, cycling accessories. You get the idea, they sell everything related with outdoor activities. The company owns 34 other companies, and they also made two recent acquisitions, Heavy Shot and Remington, two companies that sell hunting accessories and ammo. Now let's take a quick look at the company's balance sheet. This balance sheet doesn't matter much because I'm basing myself more on the recent trends, the recent news, and this balance sheet that I'm showing here is from March 31st, 2020. But just by looking at it, I see that they had a lot of goodwill that they reduced. I expect this to increase this year because of the recent acquisitions of Remington and Heavy Shot. I also see that they have a lot of long-term debt at almost $512 million, but they have a current ratio of 2.87, which is good, and anything above 2, I believe it is really good. But let's see a broader perspective on the company, so let's hop onto Coifin. And as you can see in the annual reports, the situation does not look very good for the company overall. But if we jump into the quarterly reports and we take a look at the past 3 quarters, compared to the previous year, they smashed their results. Just comparing December 2020 to December 2019, it shows a 35.29% growth in revenue. When comparing margins, December 2019 was at 20.90% in gross margin, and for December 2020 it was reported at 28.47%. For EBITDA margin, it was at 7.97% versus now at 14.91%, almost doubled. And for the net margin, it was at 3.45% versus now at 13.73%, almost quadrupled. Also, EPS growth was just a tiny 424%, just a tiny bit. Let's just take a quick look at their Q3 infographic as well. They reported a growth of 35% in sales over prior year quarter, also an increase of 84% in gross profit. Now the interesting part is the revenue and profitability growth by sector. Revenue for the shooting sports part of the company has increased by 41%, and the earnings before interest and taxes has increased by over 9%, so more than doubled. For the outdoor products part, revenue has increased by 24% and EBIT margin has increased by more than 4%. 20% of the company's sales are made through their websites. Revenue for e-commerce grew over 50% year over year. Now their expectations for Q4 can be taken into account because they also had the exact same expectations for Q3 on their Q2 infographic, and they still had $575 million in sales, as you can see here. Now on their Q3 earnings call, the company mentioned that they have landed a contract with the FBI, which is great. They can't give any details on it because it's classified, of course, but they said that the contract will start in April or May, so this month or next month. And they also said that raw materials for bullet productions or shells also are as expensive as they have ever been. Also, freight prices, they are very expensive, so could the Suez Canal situation impact them? We'll have to wait and see how the situation evolves. Now, before we see why the year 2020 was so profitable for the company, let's just take a quick look at the company's stock chart. Now, the stock is on a clear uptrend since May 20th, and it seems that the simple moving average is acting as a support. The stock had a big run before it somewhat consolidated, as you can see in the blue channel. Then it exploded again. Could it be doing the same thing again? we will have to wait and see. However, if we take a closer look at the stock chart, it looks like it might be forming a descending triangle, which is a bearish pattern, so we will have to wait and see how the situation unfolds. Now, why has the company been performing so well lately in the year 2020? There's a couple of factors that we have to take into account. If you haven't heard about it yet, there's something called COVID-19 out there that is kind of a big deal. Remember when the lockdown started and everyone was fighting for toilet paper?
The fight over toilet paper that went viral around the world.
I just want one pack.
Now, there were a lot of people that bought ammo at the start of the lockdown. I can tell you the reason why. Maybe they thought some people would turn into zombies because of the virus. Maybe they just bought it as a precaution method. I believe the latest option is the most reasonable one. But whatever the reason was, the fact is that it created an ammo shortage. Now, on the website called Meat Eater, they say that in countries where the lockdown was stricter than in the US, manufacturers had to stop producing ammo. This also obviously contributed to the ammo shortage. However, there's more ammo being produced right now than there has ever been in history, but it's still not enough because Vista Outdoor has stated in their Q3 earnings call that they are running flat out. They cannot produce enough ammo for the demand that there is. Meat Eater's website, they also say that people drive for hours to buy ammo. They say that people have learned the delivery trucks, the ammo delivery trucks schedule, that they can be in store as they arrive so that they can be the first to be there and buy ammo. All types of crazy stuff is happening. Now, in their Q3 earnings call, Vista Outdoor also said that there are 8 million new gun owners for the year 2020, so these new gun owners obviously have no ammo stock, so they also need to buy some ammo, some extra ammo to build a stock of their own. They also said that there is a 12%, I believe 12% increase in hunting licenses, and all this contributes to a $1 billion backlog, orders that Vista Outdoor still has to fulfill. Now, in their website, Meat Eater also says that the backlog, the ammo shortage, might continue throughout 2021 and even 2022, depending on how President Biden approaches the issue. Now, demand for guns and ammo always increases when a new Democratic president is elected. As you can see in this graph below, the first square represents when Obama was elected for the first time, the second square represents when Obama was elected for the second time, and the third square is when President Biden was elected. But you also have to take in consideration the COVID crisis, as we talked about, and also the riots that there were throughout the year 2020. This also created more demand for ammo. Now, just a little side note, we are talking majorly about ammo and guns, but there's also the outdoor product section of the company, and as you can see in this graph, there's camping is a seasonal activity that is starting to trend up again, and Vista Outdoor also sells accessories and other type of products for camping. Now, onto the gun talk. There were a record 23 million guns sold in 2020, and actually, if you take a look at the top 10 months where most guns were sold, there was only 1 month since 1999. There was only 1 month that was not in either 2020 or 2021, and this just matches the same trend we've seen for ammo, with demand being at all times high. Unfortunately, recently there have been 2 mass shootings, with a total of 18 people being killed, 10 in Colorado and 8 in Atlanta. Now, in consequence, President Biden has come out and said,
I don't need to wait another minute, let alone an hour, to take common sense steps that will save the lives in the future, and to urge my colleagues in the House and Senate to act. We can ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in this country once again.
Now, the video where I took that quote from has 13,000 dislikes and 8,500 likes. You make whatever you want with that information, but I think that the message is pretty clear. Now, there's a lot of opposition against this idea from President Biden. They would need 10 Republicans to agree with the bill, and as we know, Republicans say that this bill is against the Second Amendment. There are also rumors that not all Democrats agree with the bill, so it might even be more complicated than that. Now, when President Biden, he says, once again, we can do this once again, he's actually making reference to his own past, where in 1994, he passed a bill for gun control that expired in 2005. President Biden has come out and said that if this bill does not pass the Senate, he would take executive action and force the bill. However, I'm not a legislator, I'm not a lawyer, but from what I've been able to understand, This doesn't change anything because the common consensus is that this bill would never pass, would never be upheld in a court. Now, why are we talking about gun control and guns so much? Wouldn't the more extensive gun control actually hurt Vista Outdoor? Yes, every time there's major news about gun control, the stock price actually drops. But what do the millions of Americans that are against gun control do? They go out and they buy more guns or more ammo. So this is actually good from an investor's view of point, because imagine this, there's news that come out about President Biden wants a more extensive gun control, the stock price drops, we as investors buy, people as individuals they go out and they buy more guns and more ammo. Once earnings are reported, the numbers will actually surprise people and the stock will start to trend up again. So we are actually getting the stock price at a discount. Now, in theory this always works, but in reality of course it might not work out like this. And this is why I tell you to do your own research and take your own decisions. Now let's just take a quick view of what analysts have to say about the Vista Outdoor's stock price, specifically the price target. Let's check Yahoo Finance, who says it is a 1.7 out of 5, which is a buy, and also has a target price of $39. Now in Zacks Investments, they say it is also a buy with 2 out of 5. And in Tip Ranks, they also say it is a buy with a target price, an average target price of $37.11 by March 2022. Now to end the video, let's just have a quick recap of what we have talked about. Vista Outdoor has had a magnificent 2020, they have had a complete turnaround, and they are actually reporting their Q4 earnings on May 6th. I completely expect them to crush expectations. Expectations are of EPS to be 64 cents and revenue $527 million. In their Q2 report, they reported EPS of $1.10 and on Q3 1.03, as we were able to see in the infographic, and revenue was $575 million for both. Plus, with so much growth from 2019 into 2020, I don't see why the stock price would react so bad. And I also expect the board of the company to predict continuation of growth into 2021. So these are my personal expectations, but you should not base yourself on them. You should actually do your own research and take your own decisions, as I have said already. Now concerning the gun control issue, I don't see a way how Biden could extend or expand gun control or have more background checks. I don't see a way how he could do that, because I don't think the bill is going to pass the House of the Senate. But every time he mentions it that he wants to do so, the stock price is obviously going to drop. However, as we mentioned already, this will only create more demand for guns and ammo. I haven't talked a whole lot about the outdoor product section of the company, but in the Q3 earnings call, the CEO actually said that they expect this sector to perform very well now that we are coming out of the lockdown and people want to spend more time outside and do more outdoor activities. Vaccinations should also help in this matter, and Biden keeps pushing for more and more people being vaccinated, so that is also a plus. To conclude, I am very bullish on the company. I expect them to have an excellent 1 to 3 years ahead of them, and this was my research, this is my opinion on the company. If you have a different opinion, or if you see that I made a mistake in my approach somewhere, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to exchange ideas with you. So, this is all I had for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope we see each other in the next one.